Welcome back to As Told by You. Today I've got a very special guest because Virgil is kind of in the same business that we're in, which is pretty cool. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We've never worked with Virgil, but he's been in the area and been in the business for a really long time. So he's the owner of Stony Digital, and I have a question to start off. I feel like it is very hard in 2025 for people to get attention online because there's so much saturation. There's so many people putting content out every single day. I heard a stat the other day that there's millions of hours of content being put out. What do people do to get attention? What do you think? What would you suggest somebody do, like, as they want to get attention digitally? What's the way to do that?
Well, I don't think the answer has changed too much from the previous decade. And especially with the uprise of AI, I think it's still extremely important just to be authentic. So be yourself. Everyone is on social media, like even the grandmas. And people have that BS meter where they can tell if something was AI generated, they can tell if it was written with AI, or they can tell if you're putting on a front. So the best thing you can do from a marketing standpoint and getting yourself out there and building those relationships is going to be authentic, be yourself, and really have a base understanding of marketing, maybe some copywriting, but that would really be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, just authenticity. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's tough because, so many people are afraid to put that real self out there because they don't want to get criticized, right? Mm-hmm. We run across that all the time, that people just don't want to be on camera. What would you tell people if they say, "Hey, look, I don't want to put myself out there because I know that the internet's a mean place"? Yeah. What would you say?
I heard this quote from Chris Do with The Future. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not.
Yep.
Okay.
Love Chris Do.
And it may not be verbatim, but he said something to the tune of, if I wanted to hurt my competition's business, I would have their marketing be as quiet as possible. And so turn the mirror on yourself. Do you want to hurt your business? If you're not putting yourself out there, you're doing that. Yeah.
You're just being quiet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about Stony Digital. How'd you get into doing this? And tell me about that a little bit.
You want the long version or the short version?
Hey, we got as long as you want.
Got a funny story to go along with it?
It's not funny, but it's very inspiring, I think. Okay, we'll start here. And I assume, if it goes too long, just give me the signal.
I'll let Steph cut it. It'll be fine.
All right, and I'll kind of shorten it a bit.
Yeah, there you go.
But all right, so got to figure out where to start. That's the biggest thing.
The beginnings, usually.
Yep, at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
A long time ago.
I'll start post high school. So I'm a 94 baby, graduated class of 2012. That makes me 31 years old. And
wow, you're saying born in 94.
Born in 94.
Wow.
Yep.
You said high school in 94. I was like, you graduated in 94?
No, graduated 2012.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. And so, as you know, the guidance counselors and all the people helping the children at that age, they're helping you find a career path. And they're looking at your skills, they're looking at your strengths, and they're saying, this is the route I think you should go. So it was that coupled with, I want to make some money. Because growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. And I knew, as I grew and had kids and all those things, I wanted to be able to support the family in a way where I had everything I needed as a kid, but I wanted to do more and just be better. And post-graduation, I ended up going to a technical college, and I studied mechatronics, which a lot of people ask what that is.
I was about to say.
It's robotics paired with electrical and mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Yep. And so my path or my vision at that point was, I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to go work at some plant doing maintenance or PLC programming. PLCs is just what controls all the automations, the machines. And anyways, graduated, went into my first career field for that, and it lasted about a year and a half. The entire time there, I was just trapped behind four walls for 12 hours, and there were no windows, and it was just soul sucking.
Yeah.
And I was married at the time. I married young. I started dating my wife in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've been together 16 years now.
Nice.
Hope I got the math on that right.
She'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, got my first real big boy job, right? Throughout high school and through college, I was working at a restaurant as a cook, and that was great. But got my first big boy job. I was, making some money, had insurance, the whole shebang, right? And we were on vacation and we were on the way back, and I just had like that feeling in your stomach where like you've got to go to the job you don't want to go to the next day. And I just looked at my wife and said, I think I want to leave. Like, would you give me permission to go back to my high school job while I figure things out? And she gave me her approval on that. And so called my old boss. I said, do I have a job? And he was like, yep, come back. So went back to that job. And at that point, it's like, okay, I've got to get serious. I've got to figure this thing out. And started seeing some ads on, I believe it was Facebook. Might have been YouTube. But anyways, I'm a musician. I think you know that, Bill.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I was really into music. We did several shows, New Brooklyn Tavern, other areas around the area. And I was like, well, we've got this band. I would get off at like 6 p.m., at the other job, and I would go straight to band practice, and we would practice for 2 hours or so. And it was like, I've got to learn how to market this band and get our music out there. And I did. I started to learn, and I was like, okay, well, I could take these same skills and I can apply that towards, a local business.
Mm-hmm.
So reached out to my first handful of people, trying to get leads, no idea what I was doing. But I just had that feeling like I'm creative. I'm passionate. I think I can do this marketing thing.
Yeah.
And I got 2 responses back from, the people I messaged, and got meetings set up. And this was around 2017 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat down for lunch. This is one client I sat down with, and we probably talked for like an hour and a half. And ultimately the agreement was, I will let you do this for me for free for the next 30 days. And if I feel like it was valuable, let's keep it going. So we shook hands on that, and I did the work.
So what was the work?
So it was social media management, coupled with some video production, some web design stuff. So it was a good bit of different services. Basically just over delivered.
Yeah.
This is my first client. It's my baby. I'm going to go all in. And I did, with the skills I had at that time, which, they've probably 20x by then, by that point.
Right.
But I was able to impress that client, and he paid his monthly invoice for 5 years.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. 5 years is a good stretch.
I mean, pretty amazing when you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that showed me like we have something of value here because people are staying this long.
Yeah.
I don't believe people keep paying the same invoice over and over and over if they're not getting their value.
Something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do want to go back to you basically told the wife, I'm going to quit my job and concentrate on the band.
Yep.
Was that the conversation?
Not really the band,
Uh-huh.
but it was more like I'm going to figure it out.
Okay. What was the band? What was the name of the band?
So the band's name was Stone Rooster.
Okay.
If you're wondering where like the Stony, all that's coming from, it's my middle name.
Oh, okay.
So Stony is my middle name.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's cool. That would be a good band guy name. So our guitar player Stony.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
That translates well. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a big stadium name.
Is that the instrument you played?
I was rhythm guitarist and vocalist.
Okay.
And behind him, when he's doing his social media, there's a drum kit. So I'm assuming that there's practice going on there somewhere.
Oh yeah. That's my outlet. So guitar, music production, drums.
Nice.
I stay just. It was my first love as a kid.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, mine
and
too.
it feeds the soul.
Yep.
And I'm kind of glad I took the direction I did, because I feel like if I would have made music a career, I probably would have fell out of love with music.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to wake up, you've got to practice, you've got to write. Like, the artists who have made it, quote unquote, I mean, they're writing, like, they're busting out 3 songs a day.
Oh yeah. Well, we had Andre Goodman on the podcast, who was played in the NFL for, I guess, 10 or 11 years, and I asked him, what does it take, when you're a great high school player, become a great college player, what does it take to get to the NFL? And he said, sacrifice. He said, what you have to do is you have to sacrifice everything else in your life to make that one thing work. And everything else falls by the wayside. And it's the same thing with music. Everybody I've ever met that's made it anywhere in music has always been like, this is the only thing in my life. Everything else is second or third or fourth.
Absolutely.
And I will say, as a 52-year-old musician, I get to do it now for fun completely. I do it if I want to. Don't do it if I don't want to. It's totally fine, but it's just fun. And so when me and my friends get together and play, it's really just us hanging out.
Yeah.
We're really not accomplishing anything. We're just hanging out.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, so what style was this?
It was alternative rock
Okay.
/ hard rock.
It is the hardest thing in the world to define.
Yeah.
It's the style of
That's
band.
the thing about me, is I like all genres of music.
Yeah.
Besides like the new modern country. That's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah, I don't know who likes that. I've not ever found anybody that like loves it. Like, that goes to me and goes, "Oh my God, bro country is that's my jam."
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that really likes it. If you like it, write into us and tell us why. Why? Now, I will say my wife and I went with our neighbors to Nashville a couple of years ago, and we went honky tonkin' on Broadway, and you get it. Like, when you go honky tonkin' on Broadway in Nashville, you go, oh,
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen makes sense now. Luke Bryan makes sense now. It didn't make sense before this,
Yeah.
but now that I'm in this context, I totally get it. Like, I'm into it now,
Yeah.
for right now. I go back home, I'm not into it anymore, but I'm on Broadway. My wife's got her white boots on. We're ready to rock and roll. And now, well, who is that Big and Rich that did the, the honky tonk badonky donk,
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a song, he says rolling down Broadway.
Yeah.
And I thought he meant Broadway in New York City until I went to Nashville, and I was like, oh crap.
Okay.
Now I understand all this. Now I get it, So I find music very contextual. So, you can, if you go to Miami, you all of a sudden love Cuban jazz, so you just kind of, you have to figure it all out in the context. Well, I think that's very cool, man. Tell me a little bit about what Stony Digital does now. What do y'all do?
Sure. I didn't really get to the juicy part of the story.
Oh, give me the juicy part. Sorry.
I can like.
No, I
bust
love
through
the
it.
juicy part. That's my favorite part.
Okay, cool. I just didn't want to go too soon because I think it is impactful. But all right, so I was back at the restaurant, right? And at this point, I was focused on building this agency, getting more clients. And really, in a way, I was brainwashing myself to just get more knowledge, like learn, be valuable, learn how to do the thing the right way. And so every day at my shift, I worked night shift at the restaurant. I would go in. Luckily, they let us, use headphones, that sort of thing. So I was in there just consuming audiobooks, podcasts, whatever. I mean, I probably have 120 Audible titles at this point.
Yeah.
And I would have a notebook. I would always keep that notebook by me, by my station. And I would just be listening. I would be working and listening. And as I heard something good, I would write that down. And typically these were marketing, these were human psychology books that I was learning. And so many times other employees in there, they would be like, "What are you doing?" Because it was so weird, right? Nobody else does that. They're just there to do their job and to go home. And so I would tell them this vision, like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to build. And then I would just get like that deer in headlights look.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a cook.
Sure.
And and I was just like, okay, well, you'll see. Right. So working the shift one night, my wife calls me and she says, "Hey, can we talk?" "Yeah. What's up?" She says, "I'm pregnant."
Oh no. Okay.
Interesting reaction.
On a phone.
On the phone.
I was just thinking about her telling him on the phone. It's like, like that's wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
a big one.
I was in the middle of my shift, and this would be
Yeah,
the
why
first
didn't
skip.
you wait till you got home?
Well, we were young, I guess. You don't really think about those things, maybe.
Yeah, man.
Um,
That's a thing to hit you at work, I guess,
man, I was shaking like the whole thing. It was just
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making $400 a week at this point. It's like, how am I going to support this baby?
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I've got to go find a quote unquote another real job now, because I wasn't ready to go full time in the business yet.
Right.
And so I go and I apply for a sales position at a dealership, and I go in for the interview, and he begins to look over my resume. I got the interview and I'm sitting down. He's looking over my resume and he says, "Well, I see you've got this credential here for marketing and this one here, and you're certified in this. We need a marketing manager. Would you want to do that?"
Wow.
Absolutely. I would do that all day. So started the next week, and I'm officially a marketing manager. Like, I'm so excited. It's my first manager title. Right.
Right.
And, really learned a lot at that job. It was kind of the stepping stone to where I'm at currently, and learned a lot of things about marketing that I didn't already know. Learned how larger operations operate.
This is a car dealership?
Yeah.
Okay.
Learn how to manage larger budgets. And sometimes, $100,000 plus a month in spend. So it taught me a lot, until, it was great until things weren't. And the owner, he was an older gentleman, and I'm not naming any names. But basically just that old mentality of like, this is how you do marketing, and you don't stray away from the way we do it.
Right.
The analytics said otherwise, but you have to have respect for those people. And I did. But basically was told, I'm worthless. I don't know what I'm doing, et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't take that too great. I'm a pretty evenly tempered guy. I don't tend to just outburst in rage or anything like that. So basically just, into that call, told the GM, like, look, I'm going home for the day, and I'm going to think about what just happened. Went back the next day. Things were cool for a little bit. And fast forward, we got a video deal. It was the largest video deal to date that we have ever done. It was like $8,000 for a video. But I was thrilled because I've never sold anything above $1,000 at that point.
Right.
And we scheduled production day. You know how that whole thing goes. And we were ready to go until the day of comes for production day. And the GM calls me, says, "Hey, someone's called out. This was my day off. I scheduled work on my days off, my side work. And someone's off. We need you to come in."
Oh, no.
Yeah. This client's already paid. It's like, what do you do in this scenario?
Yeah, you got to take a chance on yourself.
And at this point, the business is making pretty good money. It's, it's making recurring residuals, that sort of thing. And it's like, crap. So I called the client. I say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry. We've got to reschedule this thing."
Yeah.
It killed me to do that, but we had to. So go into work. I'm there for maybe 5-10 minutes. And then the GM, he comes by and he knocks on the door, calls me to his office. And he's like, "I'm letting you go." It's like, what? Like, I dropped everything and came in. As far as like a performer goes, they had moved me to sales, just so you know. That I kind of skipped that part in the story.
Yeah.
I said it's long. It's long.
That's all right.
And, you can cut out parts you think are irrelevant, that sort of thing.
It's okay.
But at that point, I was in sales, and the difference with me as a salesman is that I would always sell ethically. there are lots of shady things you can do when it comes to sales. Let's just put it that way,
Especially in cars.
words you use, the way you push people.
Yeah.
That was not me. I was always best interest of the client, because someone can really get themselves in a bad situation.
Right.
You take on a loan you're going to be paying on for forever. You're never going to pay off the interest. So I would always just be upfront, transparent with people. Even with that character, I was still the second highest selling salesman on the floor.
Right.
Which I took great pride in. All that to say, he wanted to let me go. And I gave a sob story. I was like, man, at this point, I've got a second kid on the way. I'm like, dude, I've got a second kid on the way. Like, we just built a house. Mm-hmm. You can't do this. And he was like, okay, well, all right, you can stay. Go back to your desk.
Wow.
Right?
Nice. That's some power of persuasion there.
I think I had tears in my eyes the whole time as well. It was the first time I've ever been, quote unquote, fired. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fired and hired in the same day.
I know.
Yeah. And so go back to the desk, finish the rest of my shift. We worked 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., long days. And got home. That whole interaction just didn't sit right with me. And, I told my wife all the good things. And she was like, do you want to go full time in your business? It's like, yeah, I really do. I think I could take the same energy I'm putting into that company, put it into my own, and be 3 times as successful.
Right.
And she was like, okay, well, she wrote down a list. Here are the expenses and the money I need you to put in the account every month so we can pay our bills. I said, deal. Seems feasible. Let's do it. And she gave me, again, another thing where she's giving me her confidence, her vote of confidence.
Yep.
And went in the next day, quit. And then I was officially a full-time business owner at that point, and drove up to see Johnny Hawley, if you know Johnny.
I do.
Okay. And
everybody knows Johnny.
He did a headshot for me. I'm a big boy, time to get, a big boy headshot.
Yep.
And really the rest is history.
Yeah.
Within the first few months, I had hired a few more people. We had probably 3 or 4x our revenues. And so the way I envisioned it happened exactly, the way I thought it would.
Yeah. That's incredible.
That's the story.
That's awesome. That's a great story. It's so similar to my story, and so I feel like that's kind of how that works,
Yeah, substitute a car dealership and a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, look, my first job outside of weddings was with car dealerships doing infomercials. And so I worked with a network out of Charlotte that did infomercials. That was their whole thing. 28-minute and 30-second infomercials that went on television. And we would, along with the shoot day, we'd do the 28-30, and we'd do 2 30-second commercials, all within that package of shoot time that we had. And we went all over the Southeast doing infomercials. I was working for another company. It wasn't my client, but they brought me in to help shoot. And I provided cameras for a couple of them and different things. And that was my first commercial gig, non-wedding related, gig. So yeah. And it's a crazy industry. Yeah. I mean, the whole industry is just nuts, so I mean, it's much crazier now than it ever was when I was doing it.
It was easy in the early days.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's been about this year in particular. Extremely challenging. At least it has been for us.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had to work 3 times as hard to have the same results as last year.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's across the board, but we have certainly experienced that.
So you have cars as clients?
Dealerships? No dealerships.
So
now that former employee, they still do come to us for work every now and then, but yeah.
So I had one of my first big pitches was for a car dealership, and I won't name the car dealership. They know who they are. We did the pitch to the owner of the dealership and the board or whatever it was. It was a big group of people, and they wanted us to do a spec commercial. Okay, so I wrote a spec. We shot it. We produced the whole spec. We brought it into the next meeting of whatever this group was, and they bought it in the room. They're like, "This is awesome. We love it. you're our new agency, which would have been a terrible idea, by the way, because I had no idea what I was doing other than making videos. And the next week they called me and they said our current agency said they would cut the rate. So at the time, the way you got paid, and this would have been 2010, 9, 10. The way you got paid was their ad spend. You got 15% of their ad spend. That was, so if they spent 10 grand with the TV, you would get $1,500 or whatever it was. So they said their current agency was willing to cut their rate to 10%. And if we could do it for less than 10%, that they would retain us, which would mean they're spending 10 grand a month. We would get 800 a month for doing 4 dealerships, 2 30s per dealership. So you're talking about, eight 30-second spots for $800 a month.
No.
So we were like, well,
I mean, money
can't
was
do
different
that
back then, but yeah, that's still
not that different.
Yeah.
It wasn't that different. But I was so happy with that spec. I was like, man, the spec is so good. And I really enjoyed making it. I enjoyed working with the dealership and all that kind of stuff. But my goodness, I was like, this is a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
And so I haven't done hardly any work since then. I did pick up the company that had us doing the infomercials. They called me, I don't know, 2015 or something like that. And I went to Rocky Mount, North Carolina and did a 2830 for a Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealership in Rocky Mount, North Carolina for this guy who used to work for that network. And man, it was a slog. I mean, it was a 14-hour day, to do that 2830. It's we just don't go that hard, for that little bit output anymore.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've seen in marketing over the last couple of years is it's gone from needing that one spot a month, even for a dealership or per quarter or per year to needing so much. We produced 75 videos for a client last year, which is nuts. I mean, it's nuts. Every time we go out there, we produce 10 videos. Right. And so I think that volume is just so different than it ever has been in the past. So other than doing video, which I mean, obviously is our bread and butter, what else do y'all do for clients?
Yeah. So we're what you would call full service. And who we help primarily would be your local home services professionals, like professional industries. And then, I don't know why I just blanked.
Other than home services.
Yeah. All right. So it's not coming to me, but home services is our core. That's like our bread and butter. And
so that means what? Like trades, like
health and wellness was the third one I was thinking of.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool.
But trades, yeah. So that would be like your plumbers, HVAC, electricians, those sorts of things.
Nice.
And we do everything from web design, digital advertising. That would be your Meta, Instagram, local SEO, search engine optimization. Of course, video production, and then that's really like the core.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and your background is not in any of these things necessarily, right? Your background is in the overall marketing and the concepts and strategy and that stuff.
Yeah, but I had to get really good at each piece,
right?
Before I, hired and began outsourcing.
Sure.
I was never the type of guy where I would just trust any contractor to come and, do the work. So I had to learn each individual piece of the agency. So, if something needs to be done a particular way, I can train on that sort of thing. But when I started, it was primarily Facebook advertising and video production.
Right.
And that served us well for a long time. Then web design and, made my first web design hire and just kind of grew from there. But,
gotcha. So you have somebody on staff that does the design.
Does web. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we switched from WordPress to Squarespace a year ago, I guess, something like that, and just mainly because WordPress was so slow to load video content that we were having video content as the backdrop, and Squarespace would load everything much faster and would load on mobile much faster and all that stuff, and so we just kind of pulled the trigger and switched just like that. And I didn't really have anybody to do WordPress. We did it, but it's clunky. The back end is clunky, and it's like you got to really understand it to to do
Yeah.
well with it. So
Right.
we moved over to Squarespace, which I've been pretty happy with.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if it gets the job done, it's a tool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And ours is a portfolio site. We're not doing e-commerce or anything like that on our site. So, it's definitely much easier to deal with than than WordPress ever was. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's limited in its ways, but it works pretty good for us. So,
Yeah.
so talk about, one of the topics that we get into a lot on our podcast is AI and how AI is affecting every industry. We just had Suzanne from Mantool and Supply on, and she was talking about how AI was affecting the tool business, which I think is just insane, right? And we did a job for the South Carolina Asphalt and Paving Association, asphalt paving. So they advocate for asphalt paving versus concrete paving. Concrete paving is bad. Asphalt paving is good. I don't know. I don't have any idea, but they seem to love it. But they said that the biggest thing affecting their business right now was AI.
Interesting.
Asphalt paving. So I think it's pretty obvious in marketing how that's happening, right? With Sora and with all the other things that are kind of encroaching on our business. How are y'all looking at AI, and how are you thinking about AI moving into the future?
It's a great question. I'm watching. I haven't made a definitive decision on AI yet. Of course, we use it, but we don't rely on it.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to come up and begin learning marketing before the AI just overtook society.
Yep.
Right. So I have that foundational knowledge of marketing.
Right.
And you can argue and say, AI does too. But I think the biggest thing I see with AI is just inaccurate information. So you can, multiple people can ask the AI a question and it'll get different outputs.
Based on who's asking.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I've always seen, or I have seen, is it's always agreeable. Even if you prompt it not to be,
Yeah.
it will revert back and it will begin,
Great idea. Let me tell you how you can get that done.
Yeah.
Right.
I want somebody to tell me, no, that's a terrible idea.
You should not do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work from what I've seen from a marketing strategy standpoint, especially for the people that we serve when it comes to local. Local marketing, especially with smaller budgets, totally different ballgame than, someone trying to reach a national size audience or someone with a huge, $25,000, $50,000 plus a month budget.
Right.
It's way different.
Yeah.
And how does AI learn?
Right.
Well, I'm not an AI expert, but the way I think it learns is it gets the information from the web. Am I right in that
It does a
assumption?
scrape. It scrapes the
Right.
available. Yeah.
It also learns your way of asking questions and who you are as well. So it's taking what it's devising from you and also scraping at the same time.
Well, and what I do like about search on AI is like it's cat's out of the bag at this point. I bought my daughter's turning 16 today, and I bought her a new ukulele for her birthday because she broke her old ukulele. And so she is a huge 21 Pilots fan. She loves Tyler Joseph and idolizes Tyler Joseph as a ukulele player. So I wanted to know what kind of ukulele Tyler Joseph plays because I wanted to get her something similar, right? So I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, can you tell me, talking to it, hey, can you tell me what kind of ukulele Tyler Joseph plays? And it says, from everything I can figure out, and according to these 4 pictures, this is the ukulele he plays. And it gave me a little picture and it said, you can find it at Guitar Center. And and I went over to Sims and I was like, okay, I'm looking for this particular type of ukulele with this type of cutout and this type of thing. And it, found it over at Sims and bought it. But like that kind of search is difficult to do on Google because Google doesn't do, and now Gemini started to summarize stuff at the top of the Google search, but Google will give me links that I have to chase down and I have to see if I understand but I love the way that ChatGPT can do stuff like that where it's verifiable, and I'm not necessarily looking for the answers to the universe. I'm just looking for the daggum ukulele that Tyler Joseph plays, you know? So
Agreed.
that's been an interesting change in my habits this year. Like when I'm looking for something like that, you know, ChatGPT has become part of my search. The idea of if I'm trying to search, or if I'm looking for something, we were walking on a trail over the summer and saw a cow ant. You know what a cow ant is? Like the big red and black ant.
Hard to kill.
And my wife said, that's not really an ant. That's a female wasp. And I was like, well, that sounds completely insane. Like, like where did you get that from? So I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, absolutely. That's a cow. What's commonly known as a cow ant is actually this form of female wasp or whatever. And I was like, wow, you know, but that's the kind of search that I like to do in ChatGPT. And I'll throw it serious stuff every once in a while just to see what it does. But I always verify, you know, the answers, you know. And organizing thoughts, it helps so much with organizing, putting in random bullet points and having it organize the thoughts. Or YouTube descriptions or stuff like that, where it's like hard to write the same stuff over and over again. It gives you sort of a template, you know. So where do you feel like it's headed as far as like marketing? Because obviously the challenge is that as it gets better, which it's getting better, you know, by the week. So like every week there's another thing that comes out. And obviously from a video production standpoint, we're always concerned about the fact that, am I just going to be able to type in a prompt of a script and say, make me a video, you know, and have it do it for me so that I don't have to actually make videos anymore. So talk about where you feel like it's headed.
So I don't think that's going to happen.
And
because I've played with the tools that do that. And I've also heard stories from others who are in the industry, and the amount of prompts you have to put into it to get the vision right.
Oh yeah.
You might as well just pick up a camera and
might as well do it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's at that point you've got just as much time as, you know, invested, and the end result's probably not going to be as good as, you know, if it was done with the camera in hand.
Well, and I think that one of the benefits of this is going to be driving people back to experiences that they know are real, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm big on that. It's something I've been talking about really the last 6 months. AI is going nowhere, but I'm watching human behavior. I'm reading comments. I'm seeing how people feel, because marketing is feeling. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Because the big thing for you is a story.
It's connecting emotion. Yeah.
And that's the best way to make someone feel. So end of day, AI can only do certain things. It's never going to do the intricate things that a real human who has real experience can do. Not yet, at least.
Yeah. I mean,
people are going to crave that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm already seeing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, my daughter is part of the 21 Pilots community, which is a super weird thing for me to see in 2025, that there's still like a fandom for bands, you know? And I remember the fandom for like Metallica fans in the 90s, you know, like it was a real thing when you ran across somebody, or in the 80s especially, because nobody had ever heard of Metallica in 1987.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when you ran across another fan, you were like, oh my God, you're a fan. Let's talk about all these little details, right? Yeah. And she gets together when 21 Pilots just released another CD album this year, and they got together at a record store up in Spartanburg to listen to it. So they had a national listening party thing that was going on at record stores all over the country, and 200 kids packed into this record store and listened to this record all the way through, you know, because they were able to have an in-person
real experience.
And one of the things that they sold at this thing was a CD, which is so these kids are like, oh, there's a CD. And because the CD's got a little jacket on the inside and they could read the words and they can do all this. And Steph brought me a CD to give to my daughter, because like she just loves CDs. She doesn't have a good way to play CDs, because the only thing we have that plays CDs is my car, because I have an old Toyota and it's got a CD player in it. But like the you know, it's that tangible. They're craving that tangible experience, and that's one thing that is going to be very difficult for AI to replicate is that tangible experience to have with somebody else, you know. So I think
Until there's robot girlfriends, and then it'll all go.
yeah. So once they can cover the robot with, you know, good looking silicon, you know, that moves in the right way and all that stuff, I feel like that's a ways out, you know. But look,
and I feel like it could go terribly wrong.
That could go terribly wrong, right? Absolutely.
It's coming.
Because what happens when you get a Brian robot, right? And the Brian robot comes in and has a meeting with me, and I didn't know it was the Brian robot. And you're actually out playing golf somewhere where the Brian robot comes in. Because
I'd probably have the robot golfer have to go play golf, get me a better score,
and then you come in and make
and
money.
take the meeting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, right, yeah, your Brian robot would be a better golfer.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Keep his head down.
Yeah, that's right. You would just program in the moves, you know.
That's
and
right.
that invalidates the sport completely if you can just program in the moves.
Maybe have you guys seen the new Happy Gilmore?
I haven't. Stephanie loves it.
I did see the Happy Gilmore movie, and it was terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably what it would be like. You know, the guys that they could twist and turn all the way.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was foreshadowing for what's to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean the range of motion is just not limited with a robot, you know. But at the same time, you know, you've got a lot of things that you got to contend with a robot, you know, that like where's the battery power coming from, and oops, am I charging myself? Is that what's happening? The Bill robot charges himself? Is that what happens? Because I'm going to forget.
It's going to take long walks or bike rides. And
Oh, I see. Yeah,
it
yeah.
charges while it's outside.
Well, look, and that's the thing. If I'm choosing whether the Bill robot goes for a bike ride or comes in and has the meeting, the Bill robot's definitely having the meeting. I'm going for the bike ride. So
Well, that's enjoyment, right?
right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, that's what golf should be, by the way. It should be enjoyment. The way Brian plays golf, it's not enjoyment, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. And I enjoy playing golf. I'm terrible at it, but like I haven't been playing long enough to be good yet. So
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't have any expectation of being good.
When the last tournament, I was like, I'm playing it up to expectations when you play once, maybe twice a year. There's-
Yeah, you do have to practice at those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. So Virgil, what's a big win that Stony Digital's had? Talk to me about that. Do you feel like there's a success story there that you could talk about?
We have quite a few. I'm just trying to think, like, what is the most notable one that makes the best story? I've got one. All right, so this was actually before I went full time. It was kind of on the brink, but they're still a client today, and it's an insurance agency. And I sat down with the owner. He heard about me through our first client, and we sat down. He showed me what was going on, and he just had this fire in his belly to be the best. He wanted to be the best because he had worked at another insurance agency, didn't have the best experience, and he wanted to show it to the man, you know? And
Which is a great driver.
yep,
You ever want something to drive people? If it's not money, I want to show that guy.
yep.
Yeah, I love that.
And so at that time, when you would search for insurance companies near me, whatever, he would be like 16th on the list. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I could probably help you here. I think they maybe had 40 or 30 reviews at this point. Mm-hmm. And we started working together. We did some videos. We did a website overhaul. We began advertising. And today, I know that he's won several awards through the insurance, I guess you call it a broker, that he's with. He's an independent agency. So this isn't like a State Farm or an Allstate. He can sell multiple insurances.
Right.
And consistently ranked number one now. I know he's happy about that. A lot of people find him on Google, and his reviews today is around 200 something.
Wow, that's a lot.
So
talk about methodology for a little bit. Dig into the weeds a little bit. How do you do that with an insurance company? Not that I'm trying to learn. I'm just curious.
No, I mean, it's nothing you don't already know.
Yeah.
And it's the basics. People overlook the basics so much, and they chase the shiny objects because they think that's the next thing. Like that's the cutting edge thing that's going to get me that result. It's not. I promise you it's not. If you focus on the foundation, you will grow. You will build something meaningful. But if you do the shiny stuff and you neglect the foundation, you're going to spin your wheels all day long.
Yeah.
So the foundation, what is the foundation?
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's messaging. And that really, it circles back around the story, like we've already talked. It's about being authentic, telling a story, telling people who you are, what you stand for, and last but not least, what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Because if you can't communicate that, they're going to go to the next person. Because at the end of the day, as selfish as that sounds, every human wants to know what is in it for me. What do I have to gain? And if you can't clearly communicate that, it falls flat. You're left to the other things. It's just not as strong as like, this is what I can give you. This is the result. This is the transformation that I can give you.
Right.
So that's the first part. From there, we look at other technical things like the website. Does it load fast? Does it look great? Is it communicating the things that we need to communicate? Is the path to conversion, does it feel natural? Are we doing it in a way where if I was to sit down and try to sell you something, what are the steps I would take to actually sell that? It's not, let me show you my credibility before I can tell you the biggest benefit. I would tell you the benefit first, and then I would maybe share some credibility. It's focusing on all those minute things and building that path to conversion. It's making it, optimized for SEO and keywords that people are actually searching.
And so shiny objects, you're talking about trends on TikTok or Instagram.
Trends or tactics or...
Yeah.
You know what our marketing campaigns are? It's so simple. One campaign, maybe 3 ad sets at most, and usually 3 to 5 ads.
But as long as the website is optimized to capture, then you're in better shape.
Quality traffic, high converting, website or wherever people are going.
Landing page or whatever.
If it's built for conversion and the people are actually intentional and they need the thing, you're going to have a much higher conversion. Point blank period.
So a lot of people, when they're thinking about their marketing maybe not working as well as they think, there's a hole in there somewhere. There's either hole in the messaging or hole in the capture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of businesses, they're just like so gung ho on SEO. Like we've got to have all these keywords and this is going to be the thing that gets, helps us and makes us grow and get all these new clients. It's like, that's great. And it could work. Yes. But if you're not telling your story in the right way, if you're not communicating your message in the right way, what's the point?
Right. So if somebody's feeling like their marketing's not working, what would be your suggestion of the first step? Maybe call you, I guess. But
yeah, you could. Introspection. And maybe outside perspective. Because it's harder to see your problem if you're right up on it. Everyone has that issue. I had that issue.
Yeah, myopic.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so really just Google what makes a good brand. Don't just make a logo and say, hey, put it on a shirt. We've got a company. Let's go out and close some deals. You're skipping a major step.
Yeah.
You need to figure out who you stand for, how you need to communicate. You need to figure out how do you want to look outside of the logo, that visual identity. And you want to understand how you want to speak to people.
Yeah.
How do you want to be perceived in the marketplace? If you skip all those things, you're just like every other company out there.
And so that's one of the ways you help people stand above the noise is to say, and this is the interesting thing about our business is that a lot of our companies do and say about the same thing, right?
Yep.
We want to do storytelling, we want to communicate your why, all of that stuff is, and we feel like it's so unique and interesting
Yep.
to us,
Yep.
right? That's why I don't talk about cameras anymore. to people or any of that stuff, because none of that really matters anymore, right? It's a challenge for us to find those things that are going to kind of connect with people, to land with people.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
So it's that messaging. What are your best ways of getting the messaging out? Let's say ads are one way. What are other ways of getting the messaging to people?
Yeah. I mean, I would say ads are the primary way. The other way would just be like on the website or videos. And, that kind of ties back into social. But those are the primary ways. Unless someone's doing like email marketing or direct mail, those sorts of things. Of course, all that messaging would need to fall in line with the brand values and guidelines. But for the most part, it is like your digital marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talk about some of those some of those shiny objects. So I've always had a challenging relationship with social media trends, because when you jump on a trend, you get views, right? You can. It's pretty easy to do, right? Steph was the star of one of those videos we did early on. We paired some trend with a Taylor Swift song, and we got 60,000 views on Instagram.
Yeah.
Good job. But no contacts, no real followers came out of that, no real comments or anything like that. We got 60,000 views of the video, but nothing really happened from it. Talk about that a little bit and why people chase those trends. I see businesses all the time chasing that kind of shiny object like that. And where do you fall on that idea?
I mean, there are so many, and there's really not one that I can say like this would be considered a shiny object. Like, and they still get me. Like, I'm not innocent. Like, one got me yesterday or day before yesterday, where it's this AI tool that helps you manage all your emails and respond to them. And basically it's your assistant, right? It got me, and I canceled it this morning. It's like, wow, it's really not that great. But I wasted an hour trying to set it up. I gave it my mental bandwidth reading the landing page. I could have put it on the phone with that time and called 10 people and closed a $20,000 deal.
Right.
You tell me which one's more valuable. Was that a shiny object? Absolutely. So I would say anything where you've got to put time into something, and that there are other things that you can do that are going to produce an outcome that you need.
Right.
Why wouldn't you do that? It's because it's shiny. It feels good. They're selling the vision. It's marketing. They're hitting that pain point. My pain point was, dude, managing this email, it's stressful.
Yeah.
And they know that. They do the research. That goes back to the message, and they bombard you with these ads so you convert.
So my pain point would be Facebook ads over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to ramp up the podcast studio. Anybody's interested, give me a call.
$350 an episode.
We're trying to ramp up the the podcast studio, and I said, well, I'll just run Facebook ads. Well, Facebook makes it so incredibly complicated to run an ad. Like, you can boost a post pretty easily, right? Just hit boost post and you're done. But if you want to run an ad set where you actually are defining an audience and all of that stuff, my goodness. I mean, I got one running. I don't know how. I called Brian the minute I got it running. I was like, hey, it's running. And Brian checked the thing. He's like, not according to my thing. I was like, hold on. And I went back in there, and it's like, oh no, it's not running. And then 30 minutes later, I was jiggling with it again, and it goes processing. And I go, cool, it's running. And he goes, no, it's not. And so that's, you want to talk about shiny objects, man. Like, I could be out there doing some very valuable stuff for people. I could be helping people.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm in my cave trying to run a Facebook ad, and
you have errors in your ad.
Yeah.
I fixed the errors.
Yeah.
You still have errors in your
ad.
ad.
Yeah, that's right. It goes processing. We'd love to run your ad, but you have 2 errors in it. Hit view details, and you view details, and it says, oh, you should check this box. And then I hit the thing, and I can't check the box. I have the mouse pointer over the box. The box won't check. Like, I'm going, check the box, and it won't check. And I did not throw the laptop through the window. To my credit, I left the laptop.
Congratulations.
I know, because I don't want to break my laptop. That's not that wouldn't help me at all. If I break my laptop.
Then you have to go and find more shiny objects.
Yes, But I think what's interesting is over the last couple of years, we have really been pushing hard to help clients run social media, right? And do social media. And, the overall message is don't pay so much attention to views, because views are not necessarily what you're looking for. What you're looking for is whatever your goal is, whatever you want to accomplish. I think that's so important. And when we have people launch podcasts here, one of the most important things that we talk to people about is, what do you want to accomplish here, right? Do you just want views? Is that what you want? Because like we can figure that out, right? All you have to be is salacious. Let's just be salacious. Say something controversial, right? If you want to get on here and talk, kindly about everything,
Yep.
You're not going to get that much attention. But if you want to say something controversial, we'll get you attention, right? But I don't think that's what you want. I think what you want is, I think you want connection. I think you want sponsorship or advertising dollars. You want to be popular so you can speak at conferences or write a book and sell it or whatever it is. But, you have to define those things so clearly before you even get started, because if you don't, you're just punching at nothing.
100%.
And we had a client last year. Their internal people had they had an Instagram video that got 480,000 views, over the course of a couple of weeks, and it was awesome. They got new followers and all that stuff. I don't know that it ended up in any business, but I don't know that was what their goal was.
Yeah.
Right.
Every business is different.
Yeah. Every business is a little different.
Well, they also said it was a dog.
Yeah. The dog did it. And
Yeah.
look, that's great. But that's the joke, right? Like that was the original reason why people wouldn't use Twitter, right? I don't want everybody to see what my breakfast is. Who cares, right? and so I love the idea of kind of honing down that strategy and making sure that you have the messaging right, and that the website conveys that message and the socials convey that message and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's really cool stuff. Talk to me about doing your work in this area. So I imagine, are you from here?
I'm actually from Saluda.
Saluda, okay, but here-ish.
Offices in Lexington.
Yeah. Okay, so not too far away.
South
right?
Carolina.
Yeah,
Yep,
whatever.
there you go.
Well, like Brian's from Wisconsin, right?
Okay.
So he came here to play football at Carolina, and I find it's very interesting to talk to people who are from this area, grew up around here, versus people who moved here and have stayed, or have come back.
Yeah.
Whatever it happens to be. Tell me why Columbia? Why do this, or Lexington? Why do this work in this area?
Well, great question. Really, I never had any intention of going anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you asked the question, he's moving to Charlotte.
That's right. Get out of my market.
Love my family. I would never want to be, over an hour drive from seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we built our forever home at this point. So
Right.
We're on family land. Don't ever intend to move. And I love South Carolina, like point blank period. Love it. I think it's the best state in the U.S. And a lot of people would disagree with that. But I love it.
Yeah.
Most people have never really spent any time here.
Most of those people are making a observation from outside. It's kind of like us talking about Florida. You're like, I would never live in Florida, but I've never lived there, so I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I like visiting. I think it's interesting because Brian and I choose to do business here. Your business, I assume you could do pretty much anywhere, right?
Yeah, we could. Now, we are primarily Midlands, but we serve the entire state of South Carolina.
Yeah. Because I guess a lot of what you do could be done remotely.
It could be, yes.
Yeah. So talk about the future of Stony Digital. Where do you see it going?
Sure. Yeah, we're still figuring that out. And when I first went full time, I was gung ho. I was like, I think I want to build this thing and have like 20 employees, that sort of thing. And as we've grown and as I've managed and hired and fired, I think I'm going to find that sweet spot where maybe it's a team of like 7 to 10 people. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy there. You know what I mean? I'm a simple guy. I like guitars and drums and guns, and I've got a lot of expensive things that I can buy, but ultimately, like, I'm simple. I'm happy with just to have life, like just to breathe. Doesn't take much to make me happy. And I think we will hit a point where it's like, okay, like we're really happy here. Processes are smooth. Clients are happy. Money's in the bank. So I'm not sure what that looks like exactly, but what I just described, that's what I'm working for.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great place to end it, I think. Virgil, thank you so much for doing this. We end up every podcast with 5 questions. Your favorite things. I'm going to start off with, what's your favorite album of all time?
Ooh. Dang, that's tough because, I love music.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we asked the tough questions.
That's why I knew it would be a tough one.
That's what you get here, as told by you.
That's
tough,
right. That's right. Like hard-hitting journalism. That's right. We're
All right. So I got it. It's going to be "Screaming Fire" by Bullet for My Valentine.
Whoa. Okay. That's a time period thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That album was 2010, I believe.
Okay.
Have you heard this album before?
I've not heard the album. Okay. I know the band, but I don't know the album.
I assume when music stuff gets talked about, I have no idea, and I'm just he's acting like he knows he's
No. I will say I know of the band.
Okay.
I knew the time period.
Gotcha.
So that would mean that he was 16 when it came out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So my favorite album of all time is the Nine Inch Nails' "The Downward Spiral."
Okay.
Because I was 21 when it came out. And, that's how that works, right? Is that whatever that hits you at that point.
Yeah, influential time.
Yeah. Sticks with you, yeah.
But my second favorite album of all time is Metallica Master of Puppets, which was 1986. I was 14, I think, when it came out. I didn't find it till I was 16. But that's usually how that happens. So that's awesome. I love it.
I'm a hard critic when it comes to music.
Me too.
So if I put my stamp on something, I think you should give it a listen.
Yeah.
But man, whatever they did to that album,
yeah.
Like I think they were inspired when they wrote it, but even like from an engineering standpoint, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Like it's balanced. There's like atmosphere and there's a feeling to it. Mm-hmm. The way they pan the instruments, the drums, like you don't hear it often. Like most like toms, like on the drums, they're just centered at this point. Mm-hmm. But man, they would have like that high tom on the left, and then the middles would be in the middle. Then your low toms would be on the right side, and you can just hear it go down.
They're compressing everything to the middle now. It's like, I was listening to Abbey Road, a little while back. I just found Abbey Road as an adult. After the Peter Jackson documentary came out, I found Abbey Road, and I'm like, this is one of the great things that's ever been created by mankind.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can tell the singles on Abbey Road because all of the instruments and vocals are centered. Because radio in the 60s was mono. So you couldn't have it panned.
Yep.
So album tracks were panned. John would be over here and Paul would be over here.
Yep.
And George would be in the middle.
That is so awesome to me. Like I love that.
That's the coolest thing. I mean,
it feels like they're right there when it's done like that.
If you listen to it on a really great sound system, you feel like you're in the room with the Beatles. So like you go, John is definitely over here. Yeah. Paul is definitely over here. The bass is right here. The drums are coming from behind me. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So we could talk about this.
Check that album out. I think you would like it.
Okay.
Bullet for My Valentine. One of their biggest inspirations is Metallica.
Okay.
So you'll hear a lot of Metallica when you listen to it.
Okay. I'll take it. I'm in a band right now called Helvis, and we play a lot of covers and we play a lot of mashups and weird stuff, and we love messing with Metallica songs. So we blend Metallica songs with other songs that are irreverent towards the Metallica song. Nice. So we will mix Metallica with surf rock, or we'll mix Metallica with we just did one where we mixed Metallica with Tiffany, I Think We're Alone Now, and because we just want to, and we want to take it not very seriously. But
are you guys on Spotify or Apple Music? Anything like that?
No, we haven't recorded anything.
Okay.
We're literally a club. We're literally like a group of guys in their 40s and 50s who love playing metal. Yeah. And that's it. That's all we do. So that's awesome. One question. I got to get to the other 4. Okay. So favorite dessert.
I love vanilla ice cream.
Nice.
Like it's such a basic thing.
We've had a few vanilla ice cream favorites.
My favorite thing is Toll House cookies at the bottom of a dish with vanilla ice cream on top of the Toll House cookies. That is, I don't care who you are. That's great.
Yeah, for me, it's vanilla ice cream, and if you put some hot fudge and some whipped cream on top, that's peak.
Yeah, I love it.
Fudge sundae.
That's great. Okay. What is your favorite guitar brand?
I'm going to say Epiphone.
Oh, all right.
Now, sister of Gibson. Mm-hmm. But I think, number one, their quality is just as good.
Yep.
Fourth of the price.
And there have been some very famous Epiphone players over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, and just every Epiphone I've held, it's just, it performs.
Nice.
Like it's supposed to.
Great. That's awesome. Okay. Favorite season of the year? Oh, dadgummit. I tagged the year on to it.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry. Favorite season?
Definitely this time of year. So like fall. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Where it's 80 degrees one day and 50 degrees the next day.
I definitely enjoyed the cooler temperatures. But yeah. Also the leaves changing. Like it's gorgeous.
We were out at Vista Lights last night at 60 degrees and my wife's like, I am burnt. She wore a sweater because it was, whatever, kickoff of the Christmas season or whatever. And she's like, I am burning up. She's like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, I know.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? We've been out to Vista Lights where it's 38 degrees and we've been out there when it's 65 degrees and you just never know, you know? So God bless South Carolina weather, right?
Love it.
Yeah. I don't like to sweat.
Yeah. That's 3.
No, I think it was 4.
That was 4. All right. Last one. What would your last meal be on death row?
Oh. Probably some really good brisket.
Okay.
Some macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
Some vanilla ice cream. Bro, like that's a good way to go out.
No vegetables in the last meal.
No.
No. We just did a compilation video of this, of guests talking about their last meal on death row. And there's so many vegetables. So many people would have Brussels sprouts and broccoli and asparagus. I'm just going, y'all, what? Like, why are we having vegetables in our last meal? Like, why isn't the last meal a brownie Sunday? I mean, or whatever. I mean, good gracious.
Did I pass the test?
You did. Yeah. Yeah.
you.
You're with flying colors. That's great. Well, thank you. Well, and obviously brisket and macaroni and cheese is a match made in heaven. So that's which you'll soon be if you're on death row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
maybe not heaven.
Hopefully not.
well, whatever. I mean, it's not up to man to judge. So, well, Virgil, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Yep.